AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from downtown Baton Rouge.
Let's ride!
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Jeff Duncan here in about 15 minutes from right now. Brian Kelly met with reporters on Monday, as he does each Monday throughout the football season, for his weekly press conference. And it was interesting, as he noted, sort of a change in tone from post-game to now on Monday, when you've had time to let things breathe. Like, for context, the way Brian Kelly ended his press conference Saturday, he was asked about his level of frustration, which he clearly was. I mean, he said several times throughout the press conference, you could tell I'm not happy. None of us are happy with the way this game went. But he sort of acknowledged that this is a team with a high ceiling, which is why a performance like that shouldn't be accepted.
Of course. I mean, if I didn't think we had the players, I'd be in here giving you the Coach Kelly spin, I'd give you everything that I could come up with about how great we are. We got better players on this roster, and we got to coach them better. And they got to execute, too. I mean, this is all in on everybody. This isn't just, our coaches stink or our players stink. This is everybody collectively did not live up to the standard that we have set here. And you can only do that when you believe that you have more, and we have more. And that didn't show up tonight, and that's disappointing. Now, I need to get over it. I need to get ready for Florida, because they're going to come in after what happened this past weekend, and they are going to play their absolute best football. But I told our guys that. They know that. So we'll get back to work on this on Monday.
So Brian Kelly on Monday meets with the media. He takes the podium, and in his opening statement, he had a very decidedly different tone.
We dominated them statistically within that game. Our defense, up until, late in the game where we made some substitutions, was poised for a shutout. Anytime you can get that, you're really pleased. I think from an offensive standpoint, some individual performances. Barry Brown was outstanding. It was good to see Harlan Berry get involved and do some really good things. Xavion, multi-dimensional, running the football. 9 of 16, I think, on third down efficiency. So, a lot of really good things.
He specifically said, he wishes that he didn't have to do a post-game press conference. He wishes he could just wait until Monday when the emotion calms down. And part of me understands that and certainly respects that. It's why you have a cooling off period in professional sports. We have 15 minutes after the game before they go to the press conference, because you do want to allow some of that emotion to cool before you face cameras and reporters and media and things like that. But I also think it does serve a purpose where you have to have what the reaction is to the game after the game for media who's writing stories or telling stories via video or print or radio, whatever it may be. But yes, it's also true that when you go back and you watch the game and you watch the film and you evaluate things, you're going to see it differently than you are while you're in the moment. But I don't know that as you evaluate the film, the things that were problematic on Saturday are any less problematic today. And the thing we're going to talk about the most throughout this week is what's going to happen with this offensive line, specifically with Braelin Moore. Now, if you missed it, here's the update from Brian Kelly on Monday about Braelin Moore, as we all know, left the game after just one play.
MRIs, were positive. We didn't get the true sense that we have a high ankle sprain with Braelin. There was nothing that gave us that sense that when we looked at the MRI that, hey, this is a tightrope procedure and he's going to be out for, 4 weeks. He's going to be day to day. We'll get him out there tomorrow. We'll see how he feels. He felt better today. So I think we're going to list him as questionable, and that could change to probable as we go through the week. We'll see how he progresses.
Now, I know we, and just for the record, we reported this at LouisianaSports.net. Say it again on Sunday. I'll say it again. Multiple sources that Hunt and I spoke with after the game and on Sunday confirmed the high ankle sprain for Braelin Moore and that they would not expect him to play this week. We also reported Tradez was not season-ending, that it was a sprain. MRI confirmed that on Sunday, which is great news, and that he's sort of week to week. But both guys were likely to miss the game this week. Now, if they accelerate their recovery and able to get out there, fantastic. I look at it, though, and say, man, if Braelin Moore is so critical to what you're doing, he is your best offensive lineman at your most important position at center. I mean, the guy who's touching the ball every play, who's the battery with the quarterback, who's making all the protections, identifying the Mike linebacker, all that sort of stuff. He's just a critical component to what you do. Like, can you beat Florida without him? With DJ Chester having started 13 games a year ago and playing all but one snap of this past week at center. If the answer is yes, then you get Braelin Moore a week this week. You don't have to play him against Southeastern. And effectively from the moment the injury happened against Louisiana Tech until the Ole Miss game, it's 3 weeks. He's got 3 full weeks to try to get healed and treatment and get as healthy as he can be to then go play against Ole Miss. And then you have an open date before you play South Carolina. So you can see how that might make a little more sense to play it out that way. But maybe they're able to accelerate healing. But one of the things that I think is important to note, and one of the reasons I like to bring up things like Pro Football Focus grades, is Pro Football Focus oftentimes can either confirm or disconfirm things that we see. And I always say it, that PFF is a metric. It's not the metric. It is just something to consider among many things. And sometimes it confirms what we see, and sometimes it disconfirms what we see. And I just find it interesting that with DJ Chester specifically, and this is a truth, be it PFF, eye test, whatever, he was the weak link on your offensive line a year ago. Now, you had 4 guys around him that were all NFL draft picks. That's not a great surprise. But DJ Chester did struggle a year ago. Even if you just look at his season-long Pro Football Focus grade. For example, DJ Chester's season-long Pro Football Focus grade on offense was a 49.5. Remember, we talk about this often. Like, if you're, 90s is almost unheard of. Anything in the 80s is elite. In the 70s, you're talking about a really good starting player. 60s is serviceable. In the 50s, you got a problem. Chester's season-long grade last year overall was a 49.5. His run blocking grade was a 50. His pass blocking grade was a 64. So, objectively, it was not great. He was the weak link on your offensive line. So much so that you went and got Braelin Moore. You had a guy that started 13 games, and instead of going to a year 2 with DJ Chester, you said, no, we're going to go get Braelin Moore out of the portal because we're going to get better at center there, move Chester to a more natural position. But you also have a guy that has 13 starts under his belt. And now, he didn't start the game, but he played the entire game. So he's played 14 games at that position. What a luxury to not have to have someone go figure it out for the first time, like what happened last year with Paul Mabenga when Garrett Dellinger got hurt. And remember what I told you. Chester's season-long grade a year ago at PFF was a 49. On Saturday, his grade was a 63.2. His pass blocking grade was an 82.5. His run blocking grade was a 60.5, which, by the way, was the best among your offensive linemen on Saturday. I'm not here to tell you that it's super elite and all's well and all that sort of stuff. I'm not sitting here trying to pump sunshine. What I'm telling you is, yes, it is a downgrade from Braelin Moore, who I think is your best offensive lineman. But what a luxury to have a guy who started 13 games, really now 14, for you at that position, who's been on the road in Gainesville, who's been on the road in College Station, who's been on the road in Fayetteville, who's played Alabama, who started in the bowl game, who's played all these games. Start his first game in Vegas against USC. He's got all this experience. Again, I'm not telling you this is the best thing ever. It's objectively not. You're much better with Braelin Moore, period. Full stop. But not many teams have the luxury of having a backup center that's effectively started 14 games at that position and gone through what DJ Chester has. So, all things considered, man, I am encouraged by DJ Chester's progress from a year ago to now, and it is encouraging that you have someone with that much experience who is improving, and you're not going to someone who is green that you're throwing right into that spot in a critical game this week with Florida coming in. By the way, a Florida defense that eviscerated your offensive line a year ago. They had 7 sacks and 11 TFLs. You want to know where this game on Saturday is going to be won? It's right there. Because if LSU, as I don't think Florida's offense is going to do much of anything against LSU. So if LSU's offensive line can keep Garrett Nussmeier upright, which they couldn't do last year, then I think LSU is going to win this game and win it comfortably. But if Braelin Moore is not available, DJ Chester is going to have to play just as good, if not better, than he did this week against Louisiana Tech. And what a luxury to have a guy that's basically started 14 games for you to be able to go in there and try to hold it down until Braelin Moore can come back. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Of course, locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at LMFJ.com. They sell only the finest natural diamonds from the finest diamond mines in the world. Mr. Scott goes on diamond buying trips all throughout the year to the finest diamond mines in the world to bring the best product back here to Louisiana. And because they're buying for 10 stores, they have the buying power to be able to give you great selection and great prices. It's that, the big box stores can be very impersonal, very cookie cutter. The boutiques, maybe the selection isn't great and the prices are too high. Lee Michaels is perfect. It's that just right in between where you get the great selection and the great price. And, of course, the Lee Michaels experience. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Jeff Duncan will be here when we come back, talk a little Saints, and Muse, Paulie, and I got to get to our college football takeaways. Otter will be here for Otter Locks. He'll give us a pick on Monday Night Football. So a ton to do as we roll along in Hour 3 of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Thinking of building a pool? Great time to call Duplessis Builders. And you might say, well, Matt, it's September the 8th. By the time the pool's built, swim season's over. True. That's true. However, if you start that process now, you can have your pool, outdoor kitchen, outdoor space done before the holidays. So when you have people over, family over, friends over, you don't have a construction zone in your backyard. DuplessisBuilders.net is the website. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net. Start there and let's make it happen. Derek Duplessis and his team, they do awesome work. They can help you plan your backyard paradise, your pool, your outdoor kitchen. They even do putting greens. If that's something that you're interested in doing in your outdoor space, go through that process. They'll hold your hand throughout the whole pool building process from the design all the way through the completion. A top 50 pool builder in America from Pool and Spa Magazine. It's DuplessisBuilders.net.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
MRIs.
Yeah, I thought Spence did some good stuff. He put us in position there. Obviously there's highs and lows as you go through a game, but I love the way he approached it, the mindset he played with, and he gave us a chance.
Kellen Moore, after Saints drop his debut as the New Orleans Saints head coach 2013 to Arizona. Jeff Duncan's good enough to join us. NOLA.com, the Times Picayune. You get him on X at Jeff Duncan _. Thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. How you doing, buddy?
Doing really well. Okay, Spencer Rattler's not his debut. It's his 7th start. Still yet to win a game, but his debut as the full-time starter. What did you think?
Yeah, I came away probably a little more encouraged than discouraged. I thought he showed a little more, I think, discipline and poise than I saw from him a year ago, and I think that's probably to be expected considering he was playing with much better players around him, and he's had a year in the offseason under his belt. And I think we have to credit Kellen Moore and the coaching staff with kind of, I think, driving that point home with him that he doesn't have to play hero ball. I think that's when Rattler gets in trouble. But at some point, Matt, we all know he's going to have to try and make plays downfield. He's going to have to. That's the litmus test every quarterback in the NFL. You got to, at some point, make a play when you have to make it. And I thought yesterday he showed some of that potential in leading that drive at the end of the game and almost came up with a miraculous game-tying catch there at the end. So I thought we saw progress in him, but we got to see a lot more if this team's going to get over the hump.
So then let me ask you about the other debut, which was Kellen Moore. You've seen a lot of these head coaching debuts in your time covering the New Orleans Saints. What were you looking for with Kellen Moore on Sunday? How did it maybe match or not live up to what you thought?
Well, I thought he had a very creative game plan and played to the strengths of this offense as well as he could. I kept them in the game. I mean, let's face it, Matt, this is, by most analyst standards, the least talented roster in the NFL. I think it's definitely in the bottom 5. It's certainly one of the worst I've seen the Saints roll out in the last 10, 15 years. So they're going to be outmanned most games. They're going to have a very clean game plan. Their margin for error is very thin, and I think he tried to reduce as much of those variables as he could, reduce the risk, try to stay in the game in the fourth quarter, hopefully you make a play. They kind of played that well. I mean, the blocked field goal kept them in it, but that's only going to go so far. Now the league, that element of surprise that they had week 1 is going to be reduced next week, and it's going to keep getting reduced, and you're going to have to evolve. And I think we're going to learn a lot about Kellen Moore and the staff as the season goes on. We saw last year Clint Kubiak start like a house of fire in the first 2 weeks. The league got tape on him. I know they had some injuries, but I think a lot of it had to do with the league understanding what the Saints were doing, and Kubiak didn't really evolve much. And I think we're going to find out a lot about Kellen Moore in that regard as well as the season goes on as a play caller.
You know, Jeff, I also kind of found it interesting listening to a lot of the players post-game who were kind of encouraged by maybe how close they lost. I'm treading carefully with the way to say it, but what was your feeling post-game locker room, the just being around the vibe of the team?
Yeah, no, you're right. They definitely like Kellen Moore. I think they like that he's his staff is young, almost a millennial head coach, Matt. I mean, they practice late in the day because Kellen Moore doesn't get up early. He's like a typical millennial. They've had very light practices. I mean, I've never seen a training camp as light as this one in my entire 26 years covering the NFL. And ask any former player, Deuce McAllister, Bobby Aber, anybody that's there, it's night and day compared to even what Dennis Allen ran. So, of course, the player's going to like that, right? I mean,
Sure.
We would all like that. But at some point, there's a toughness element that has to be instilled. And I'm in the back of my mind, I'm waiting to see if that crops up this year because of how light things have been. And one thing I glossed over a little bit, and I probably shouldn't have, was, look, they can't commit 16 penalties, 13 called, 3 declined, a lot of them procedural, trying to do a little too much with the tempo, maybe a little too soon. That's a rookie head coaching mistake, and they paid the price for that.
This is completely speculative. Jeff Duncan's our guest, so admittedly, completely speculative. But being around this team through camp and the players liking the coach and all this stuff. If this, like, let's say hypothetically, Jeff, they lose to San Francisco, they're a touchdown underdog, and then they have back-to-back road games where they're going to be a decided underdog. Let's say they start 0-4. How do you think, or do you think, that mood or vibe changes?
Yeah, look, I mean, winning cures everything. Ultimately, these are professional athletes, and they want to win. They want to be successful. It means money into their pocketbook. It means a part of their legacy. You've got to prove it on the field. And, every coach is different. And this is the way the NFL is going, frankly. The Sean Paytons of the world are really anomalies in this day and age. There's not very many of those old guard guys. It's mainly the Matt LaFleurs, Mike McDaniels, these younger head coaches are taking over the league. So I think Kellen Moore fits into that, but I'm interested to see how the team responds if this thing goes south mid-season, because at some point you've got to have success to get buy-in and credibility. And I think that's what he's tried to do with this offseason, because the team has been losing. There's been a lot of kind of bad vibes in the locker room. I think he's tried to win over the veterans, and he's got that right now. Now I think they have to see some results.
Give me a reason, Jeff, based on one game, small sample size, but what you saw on Sunday to be optimistic moving forward.
Well, I thought both lines played better than we thought. I mean, I know there were some issues with penalties on the offensive line, but we saw some pass protection, strengths, I thought. They ran the ball for 4.9 yards a carry offensively. And defensively, I think they ended up with 5 sacks on a very mobile quarterback without their best pass rusher in Chase Young, who's probably going to be back this week. So there's signs of encouragement. The way I've framed this season, Matt, is there's really no middle class on this team. It's a top veteran-laden starting unit that I think can be competitive, just like they were yesterday with most teams in the NFL. But they cannot. There's no margin for error. They've got 10 rookies on the team, so the experience and talent drops off pretty quickly once you get past the starting units. So if they can stay healthy, and I know they've already suffered some more injuries, but if they can stay healthy, I think they can be competitive and maybe start winning some of these close games. They're now 5-13 the last 2+ years in one-score games. I mean, you got to turn those around at some point, or you become a loser's mentality, and I think that's starting to infect this team.
You think the loser's mentality is
yes?
I
think you find ways to lose when winning's a habit and losing's a habit. And I compare a lot of times. This may be a bad analogy, but it's an old horse racing analogy. When you have a class horse, a Kentucky Derby level horse, and they're running in a race against a low level claimer, they're going to run lots of times just hard enough to stay ahead and win. At the wire, they may win by a length, and it looks like it's a close race, but anybody will tell you in horse racing that other horse was never going by the Kentucky Derby horse, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I think happens in the Saints a lot. They lose these games, and you look at the final score, and you're like, oh, they lost by 7 or 8. They were right there. We saw that last year, but the entire game, they're behind. They're not in control of the game. Yesterday, Arizona was in control of that game. Sean Payton talks about that a lot. You get control of the game, and then you manage it. And they managed that last 2 minutes to where the Saints didn't have any time to really score. They had a few chances, but it was difficult. That's what's happened a lot to these teams, and I think they're further away than some of these scores indicate.
What did you think of the uniforms?
Oh, God. Were they awful or what? That's the worst I've ever seen. Who was thinking that? And I think they've lost now all 5 games of those ugly black helmets.
They've never won a game in the black helmets. But Jeff, like, the thing that is stunning to me are the people that are defending these uniforms. My wife, who does not care a lick about sports, she loves the Chiefs because of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Like yesterday during the Saints game, she was literally hot gluing rhinestones onto red boots. She was gluing like an 87 onto some red boots. But didn't, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't give a rip. She's like, why are the Saints wearing beige? That was her question. I'm like, they're wearing softball pants, beige jerseys, and ugly black helmets. I don't know what they're doing.
I just had a conversation, Matt, a little while ago with a Saints source, and he was talking about how awful they were too, a guy in the building. Yeah. And we were talking about the old school Saints jerseys back in the early days when they had these beautiful kind of coppery gold, real gold colored helmets and numerals and jersey pants. I don't understand why the NFL, because this is all an NFL level decision. It's beyond the Saints. I don't understand why the NFL can't get that right, get that gold color back. I'm sure it has to do with optics and television and merchandise sales and all about money, but it's awful. That beige is the worst. And I am pleased to announce that they will not have those beige end zones next week for the 49ers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Not
progress.
going to have those, thank God.
I mean,
that beige color in the end zone, awful.
Jeff, the old gold, like they have that in the Color Rush uniforms. Like,
Right.
you can
Exactly,
do it.
that color.
That color. Like,
Yes,
match it to the helmet.
color
I've been screaming about this. It's not hard. Match it to the helmet. What are you doing? Anyway, all right, last thing. You mentioned the injuries, and the one today is Julian Blackmon, who it looks like they've lost for the season. Any idea what they do at safety?
I think they'll try and get a veteran in there. I don't think they want to trust Jonas Finker back there. Now, this was a position, Matt, that going into camp they were worried about when they still thought Tyrann Mathieu was going to be playing. They were worried about it before that. So I can imagine there's alarms going off on Airline Drive right now because Blackmon has been a pleasant surprise. But I have to say, there's people in the league that were like, I don't know if he'll hold up the whole year. When the Saints signed him, they were worried about his shoulder, and look what happened. So this is kind of where they're at, Matt. I keep going back to this. Reminds me so much of pre-Breeze Peyton era, where you're taking chances on guys. You can't get Keenan Allen to come in. He doesn't want to come play with an uncertain quarterback situation, a transition rebuilding team. You can't get Noah Fant to come here. You try and overpay him. You can't get him. You have to go out and make a trade for Devon Bailey. You have to overpay for that. This is where they're at. I mean, they were the opposite of this when Breeze and Peyton were here. They were getting guys for less than market rate because they all wanted to come here. It's kind of a depressing time, I think, if you're a Saints fan.
He's on Twitter, X, at Jeff Duncan _ You can read him at NOLA.com /Picayune. Always appreciate a few minutes, man. Thank you.
All right, Matt. Great talking to you, buddy. Take care.
You as well. Thanks, Jeff Duncan. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Give Dr. Blake Williamson a shout. Telling you, you will not regret the decision. And they're a full-service optical shop. So eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. We say it all the time. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. You want to have your annual eye exam? Because you should always have your annual eye exam. They can do that at the Williamson Eye Center. If you wear contacts or glasses, they can fill your prescription at their optical shop. But if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, Dr. Blake Williamson is just the best. It's so fascinating. Like, go look at the Williamson Eye Center Instagram. You'll see Dr. Blake teaching at different conferences all over the world because he's on the forefront of ophthalmology and brings so many of those practices to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is why people come from all over to have their refractive procedures here at the Williamson Eye Center. Like, what a luxury, what a gift, what a resource for our community here. WilliamsonEye.com or call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Thanks to Jeff Duncan. We appreciate a couple of minutes from him. Peter Burns of the SEC Network was here last hour, recapping the week that was in the SEC. Something that we're going to bring back here every Monday during football season. Muse, Paulie, and I will do our college football takeaways. So when we come back, we'll do that. 3 things, 3 observations from each of us on the college football weekend. We'll do that. And Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. Otter Locks are posted right now at LouisianaSports.net if you want them. It's a play on tonight's Monday Night Football game with the Bears and the Vikings wrapping up week 1 in the NFL. You can get Otter Locks right now. By the way, he's got MLB picks as well at the website. If you want them now, get them. But Jimmy will be here in about 15 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR. After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
Rolling along here. There's a piece up at LouisianaSports.net. Chris Marler, who's our SEC writer, does a column every Monday, something within the SEC. And this, he wrote about the Mississippi State win. I have this up because we're about to do college football takeaways, and I did want to mention Mississippi State's win against Arizona State. I just spoiled one of them. But in any way, I would encourage you to go read it. The tone of the column was basically how we'll go read it. It's why the win for Mississippi State was good for everyone that's a college football fan, and I'll let you read it. But what was interesting is down along the piece, he writes, he's talking about Mississippi State fans say they don't care about your opinion of the football team. They don't show up to Davis Wade or Duty Noble with brown paper bags, embarrassed to cheer for their alma mater. They certainly don't care that last year's team went 2-10. And then parenthetically, it says, editor's note, Mississippi State fans, in fact, cared very much. Well, the editor, of course, who edited this piece was Rivers Huey, who's the Mississippi State alum. So she interjected an editor's note from a Mississippi State perspective, which I thought was fantastic. Anyway, it's really well done if you want to go read it. And again, as always, everything's always free over at louisianasports.net. And just a couple of other quick tidbits. Remember, if you do listen to us on the 104.5 ESPN app, if you turn on notifications, that's how you get our push notifications when we have news. So, for example, today or Sunday, when we got the news about our report about Treydas Green and Braelin Moore, send a push notification. If you have notifications on the app, you would have gotten that. The other ways, you could always subscribe on my text line where we share a lot of that news as well, which is the number I give out all the time, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. It's free. It's just like send a text that says hi, Matt, whatever, and you'll get the first one you get back is automated. Everything after that is actually me, my fat fingers and thumbs, typing in and texting you from my phone via an app called Community. So just a couple of tidbits, but as always, louisianasports.net, bookmark it. We're so grateful for the support. I'll tell you, we have done from January to now a 5X of what we were doing from January to now as far as our daily averages, which is incredible. Now, LSU baseball winning a national championship, and then football having a great start to the season, the Saints having a coaching search, all that helps tremendously. But we're very grateful to everybody who's helped us grow LouisianaSports.net so rapidly, and now just more than a year. We launched on August 17th of last year, and so just in a little over a year, almost a year and a month, the growth has been amazing. So thank you sincerely to everybody who reads, who's given us feedback, who's given us a chance to be part of your rotation of different sites that you visit and read every day, so we appreciate it. All right, college football takeaways. Hit it, Muse.
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
Right. They're Mussolini, Matthew Gerard Musso.
Nope.
Matthew Gwyneth Muse.
Nope.
Matthew Geronimo Musso.
Not it either.
Matthew.
All right.
Matthew Othello Musso.
No. All right.
Nailed it.
It's
You could
time.
tell by how quick you were with the response that time. Nailed it.
It's time we all start paying attention to Illinois, and here's why.
I paid attention to him. I bet him this weekend.
First of all, they're really good. I did too.
Cashed that ticket.
Veteran quarterback, all those things. They go on the road to Duke. I get it. It's Duke. Not a hostile place to play, but Manny Diaz has that program trending in the right direction.
Close for a half.
Yeah, close for a half. Honestly, Illinois shouldn't have been winning at half. They were, but then they dominated 31-6. But here's why you need to pay attention to them. They're that team in the Big Ten that not enough people are talking about. In 2 weeks, they go to Indiana. They pull that one off. They play one more ranked team on their schedule. It's Ohio State. They get that at home in October. This is a team that could very well go 11-1 and find themselves in the college football playoff, much like Indiana did a year ago. Brett Bielema's got himself a squad. I'm going to pay attention a little bit up there in
squad
Champaign.
that's going to get the crap kicked out of them in the playoff when they go 11-1.
Absolutely.
But you're not wrong.
But,
they
like
avoid
Indiana.
they avoid Penn State, Ohio, Oregon.
Is Florida State back?
No.
So granted, this game was against East Texas A&M, who I didn't even know existed until Saturday. Tommy Castellanos passed for 237 yards, 3 touchdowns. They routed East Texas A&M 77-3. FSU scored on 10 straight drives to open the game, the most points in the Mike Norvell era. The Seminoles' 6 passing touchdowns were the most in a game since 2011.
Hat tip Mississippi State, a dramatic win. I mean, if you were not watching the game, and admittedly, I had State with points, so I was happy to cash the ticket. I did have Arizona State winning the game, but The 58-yard touchdown pass with 30 seconds to play in the game to win 24-20 was just a remarkable way to win the game. And you look at Arizona State, which was ranked 12th in the country. This was a pretty evenly matched game. Total yardage was 345 to 333, with State having a slight edge thanks to the 58-yard touchdown at the end. But they did it in opposite ways. Arizona State only ran for 82 yards. Arizona State only threw for 82 yards. Mississippi State only ran for 66 yards. They did it in opposite ways. But this wasn't the end of the game was incredible. But State's comeback was awesome. They led big at half. They blew the lead and then came back and ultimately won it. So hat tip to State for getting a top 15 win on their home field, doing it in dramatic fashion. I don't think State is all of a sudden going to be a great team or even a bowl team this year. But you can sort of see the progress Jeff Lebby is making when he had to take this thing down to the studs from what was there after Mike Leach's passing. So a very, very nice day in Starkville for the Bulldogs.
Maybe, just maybe, Dabo Swinney should not have told the media last week to tell everyone that Clemson sucks. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. You can't take that approach and then fall behind 16-3 at the half to Troy and play really bad in doing so. Like, there's one thing to have a letdown and be sluggish. You were down 16-0 at one point in that game and you're turning it over for just all day. I'm not ready to push the panic button totally on Clemson, but the game this weekend with Georgia Tech, that's going to be one to watch keenly. That's going to tell us a lot.
Arch Manning is going to be just fine. He passed for 4 touchdowns and ran for another as Texas rebounded from their season-opening loss. They defeated San Jose State 38-7. Arch threw for 295 yards, 1 interception in the second game as a starter. Scrambled for a 20-yard run. He also had deep completions for 36, 33, and 22 yards down the field. So, yeah, Arch will be just fine.
Let's go quickly, guys. Get used to South Florida in the playoff discussion. They've already got 2 ranked wins. They beat ranked Boise, which is not actually very good, and now they beat 13th ranked Florida. They play Miami this week on the road. They'll probably lose, but after that, no more ranked teams. If they run the table, they will very likely be the highest ranked G6 conference champion, which means they would be in the playoffs. South Florida, Tulane would really be those teams vying for it, but South Florida, after that win, probably gave themselves the credence they needed to be at the top of that conversation.
We've touched on it a little bit throughout the show, but Oklahoma's vastly improved. I mean, they are. John Mateer was awesome against a good Michigan defense. Brent Venables' defense looks as good as ever. The problem is it might not matter because that schedule is still a bear. We'll see.
Is Mike Gundy in trouble? Oregon smoked Oklahoma State 69-3. That's the most lopsided loss for Oklahoma State since 1907. That was the same year Oklahoma gained its statehood. So yeah, Mike Gundy could be in trouble in Oregon State.
Not could be.
Or
Oklahoma State. He's going to be fired. And so too is Billy Napier. He's got a $51.8 million, or he signed a $51.8 million buyout. He has $22.8 million due over the next 3 seasons. So it's going to be pricey, but when you look at what's ahead for Florida, he's not going to survive this with LSU, Miami, Texas A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida State all ahead. There's just no way this team gets to 8 wins, and anything less than that feels like that's going to be it for Sunbelt Billy. So Florida will probably be looking for a coach here shortly. Okay, that's our college football takeaways. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com with locations all over South Louisiana. If you want to buy tires, let me rephrase that. Nobody wants to buy tires. If you need to buy tires, you want to get the best tires at the cheapest price. That's a fact. That's Shaw Bills. They're going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. Go to the website, hit the promotions tab at the top of the page. It'll tell you all the great deals they have. Or maybe you need something done on your vehicle. Maybe it's time for an oil change. Shaw Bills. Maybe you need your tires rotated. Shaw Bills. Maybe the brakes are squeaking. Shaw Bills. Maybe you're about to load up the car to go to Oxford in a couple of weeks, or you're making any of the road trips this year for LSU football. Make sure you bring your vehicle to Shaw Bills to get it checked first. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. Okay, when I got a final break of the show, when we come back, Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. I can tell you Jimmy has a pick on this game. It was one of the picks he gave out on Jimmy Out's Football Sunday yesterday. That and MLB pick. We'll get to that to wrap up with Otter Locks next. Dave Farr.
AFR.
Watermark and Renaissance. 2 amazing hotel properties, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, Watermark voted by you the best hotel in the Best of 225 awards, the best hotel in Baton Rouge, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. And next month, celebrating its centennial, the building itself, not the hotel, the building, the original Louisiana National Bank building in downtown Baton Rouge on 3rd Street. They have maintained so much, as I've told you, of the historical significance of that building. From a lot of the marble staircase, a lot of the artwork there in the building is original. But they've added modern amenities. So it's this beautiful blend marrying Baton Rouge's historic past and its present. So highly recommend, if you've never been to Watermark Baton Rouge, plan a staycation. Maybe for an LSU football game, you stay downtown at Watermark Baton Rouge. Easy access to LSU's campus right down Nicholson. Or maybe it's just a cocktail after work. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding. They do shutters as well. As always, we appreciate Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows. Do beautiful work. Storm season's here. There's energy. There's storm impact resistant windows from Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. All right, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Well, after a disgustingly bad beat on Sunday Night Football, let's finish week 1 off on a high note. Otter, how are you?
Thank God for in-game betting, huh? I mean, to hedge off some of that loss last night. So,
oh, my God.
You know, bad beat. There's never been a bad beat that you couldn't have hedged out of. And I didn't get it to high point, but once you see it coming, and, well, you could kind of see it if you stayed up late last night. That was brutal. And, I mean, I'm sorry. Come on, man. 4th and 2. You think it's an offensive game, 41-40. I mean, let's lose it with our offense on the field at 4th and 2. With,
you got Lamar Jackson. Go get 2 yards. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So, I mean, major game flow, the strength of your team. I mean, the whole bit. So, no, we're going to give it to the reigning MVP. See if he can get him in field goal range.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. All right. So, anyway, we're down 1-0 in the game we put down earlier. Kansas City and Cleveland, both teams kind of on the outside looking in, but close in contention for the American League wildcard spot. We took the better team, the hotter team right now, the better pitching matchup. We're down 1-0 right now, but don't panic. I would still bet it if you didn't get down on it earlier.
It's up plus $1.57 right now.
There you go. All right, but money on parlay in Major League Baseball. 2 teams that also, one is in as a wild card right now. One is chasing. San Francisco and Seattle. Seattle finished kind of a shaky road swing. Pretty damn good. Won Saturday and blew out the Braves yesterday. Now they're back home. So we're going with Seattle with their most consistent pitcher, Brian Wu, this year. And then San Francisco at home, Webb. Arizona's still in the hunt, too, but they, even after being a stellar before the trade deadline, but Arizona is pitching down the line here. So that one is plus anywhere from $1.15 to $1.20 on a money line parlay. Monday Night Football tonight, tough, man, for a rookie quarterback making his first start. He's a rookie, McCarthy. The Bears are improved. We love the Bears under because their schedule is so tough, and we saw how improved Green Bay is yesterday, but man, this is a spot for Chicago here. Plus the 1.5 at home against Minnesota. It was one of my 5 picks yesterday on the show. So, and I'm staying with it.
There's a no sweat bet as well at DraftKings. As Otter always says, you got boosts and those opportunities. Take advantage of them. Take them all if they're going to give them to you. Take them all. Where are you tomorrow?
We are at Mike Anderson. Burnside Salad.
Go get you,
baby.
Go get you. All right, Otter, we appreciate it. Good luck tonight.
Good luck.
All right, man, we appreciate it. That's Jimmy Ott. It's after further review. Thanks to Jimmy Ott. Thanks to Jeff Duncan, Peter Burns, Muse Pauly. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Was texting earlier today with my buddy, Mr. Kerry Manuel, who's the certified pre-owned manager over at South Point Volkswagen. So I always tell him, man, you get good trade-ins, you get good value, you get something you want me to mention, man, let me know. And he texted me this morning. He said there's a large selection of certified pre-owned Volkswagens in stock. So it comes with the remainder of the Volkswagen's factory warranty plus an additional 2-year, 24,000-mile certified VW factory warranty honored at any Volkswagen dealer in North America. So buying Volkswagens, incredible. Buying a certified pre-owned Volkswagen at South Point Volkswagen, even more reason to do so. They got a great selection right now, so check them out online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. For South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?